So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today I'm joined by Jens Nicolai. He's the guitar player for the band IOTUNN, which is a band that's pretty interesting band, and they're putting out their second album, Kinship, on October 25 through Metal Blade Records. So we're here to talk about it. So first of all, Jens, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm enjoying that short holiday time and then going back to work Monday and enjoying the gray weather here in Denmark.
Okay, nice. So I don't know if I said the band name correctly because it's like, how do you say
We say just Jotun.
Yotun? Okay,
Yeah,
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 yeah. Okay, I'm like, how do I say it? But yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I listened to the album. I know that the album is 8 songs, and there's 4 songs. There's 4 songs that are already being out. There was one that was out in 2023. So people have already, heard part of the record, but you left the really long songs for when it premieres because I listened to it and it's a pretty epic record. And it's also a concept record about the journey of this tribesman in prehistoric times and how he deals with the hardships of life, which I thought was interesting. So yeah, tell me a little bit about how you guys came up with this concept.
When we are trying to figure out what an album should be about, it's always on the shoulders of the music. So we create the music first, and then we discuss what kind of associations do we get from listening to the music. So early in the process of making this album, our singer Jon and Jesper, my brother, and I, we sat down together in the Faroe Islands and agreed that there was something very close to heart and organic about this music. So, so, so the most close to heart thing that we could agree on, or that we could think of, was that relationships is really the core of everything. Relationship, how you relate within yourself, but also relationships to family and to society, to ideas, to nature, and to the cosmos as such. So that was the starting point, and uh, and then by by having relationships as something that is so essential, we figured out that we should create some kind of mythological kind of story that is set in the beginning of time, but beyond a beginning. It's not a linear process where we go back into the beginning of history. It's set in our own imaginary world, so to speak, and
Yeah.
so that we could take the subjects of the album and connect it with something primitive. And by that, I don't mean something that is not evolved or in a simple way like that. We mean primitive as something that is really of essence and something that is the first things that needs to be mentioned when you are discussing what is everything about being a human being. And so that was the starting point.
Yeah, no, I think it's a relatable subject, and the album really has some peaks and valleys. So, the first song I think that you released uh, for it was Mistland, which is actually the second track on the album, and you have videos for Twilight, I Feel the Night, and the last one was the Iridescent Way. I Feel the Night has a great solo on it. I don't know if you play it or the other guitar plays it, but tell me a little bit about the solos that you have on this album because there's some cool solos on it, like really
Okay,
melodic. Yeah.
thank you. We like to split the solos up between my brother and I, and and you, unless you know our sounds very well, you can't tell who's playing what, because I don't think it's printed in the artwork. But um, but for instance, I Feel the Night, you have this very short solo after the first chorus, and that's my brother playing that solo. And what we like with solos is we like to take out little fragments or little pieces from the solo that is taken from maybe some of the other riffs in the song or some vocal lines and stuff like that. So it's not so that the solos are not put on top on the song, but you have to have the feeling that the solo comes from within the song, like magma or lava coming out of the volcano. So it's connected with the inner of the song, but it comes out as being something that is on top. Um, so the solo has to be a natural extension of the song. That's very important for
Yeah.
us, and not we don't have that much focus on if we pull off different licks or techniques. We don't have a checkbook or anything like that. It's more like jamming on the song and finding the right way and find a solo and a tone that serves the song as a whole. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, and hopefully you and your brother have a good relationship and you don't fight of who gets to play which which part.
Oh no, that's not a problem for us. We it's not very often that we argue or have conflicted situations in the creative process. We are always pretty much on the same page.
Yeah. The music video for that song, I Feel the Night, is pretty epic. Where did you guys film that music video?
We filmed it in Copenhagen in a studio. Um, so the performance part is just us playing in a very totally darkened room with a couple of lights, and then the film or the video makers, they supplied the video with some footage.
Okay. So you guys stayed safe indoors, but it looks awesome. You could never tell. And it's a great song. It's there's a lot of melodic parts on this album. There's harsher singing, but I think this album is pretty melodic. So this is your second full-length album. How would you say that you like the sound of the band has evolved from the first album to this current release that you're going to put out?
I definitely think that the sound on this album is way more dynamic, both the production, mix and master, but also the songwriting and the arrangement of the songs. That's it's the music moves way more up and down on this album than on Access All Worlds. It has a lot more of acoustic guitars and cleaner
Yeah.
parts, and it's more moody and gray in its atmosphere, but still, I think very, very colorful at the same time.
No, I agree. And once people hear some of the songs that they haven't heard, for example, I think Earth to Sky is one of the most aggressive tracks on the record. And you have like a super epic long track to start the album with Kinship, Elegiac, and you also finish with a long track with the Anguish Ethereal, which I think those longer tracks you play a lot with spacing, like like it takes time to build, but you're always engaged with them. How do you tackle the long songs for what's the process for you? Because I know writing long songs has to be harder than doing the shorter ones because you have to do different dynamics and have people be engaged with them.
I think most of the songs are on the album are, are long songs. If you count 7 or 8 minutes, that's also as long. So for us,
Now,
it's
because of other bands like Dream Theater, now that's short.
yeah. That's right. Uh, I think it's in some way it's easier for us to do the long songs than the short songs. I don't know why, but when we start writing a song, we never have an idea about how long the song should be. If we try to plan that out in the beginning, there's so many doors in the coming process that we close. So that's a no-go for us. And then we just write, and it's very time consuming. But what we have to do is we have to make sure that that every transition sounds right, and we have to make sure that everything comes, in the right amount. So it's like it has to be like the perfect trekking trail in some way. And like I said, that's very time consuming because there's only one way, and that is to listen to it over and over again. And often with the long songs is that it is in this way that it often is longer than the version that is on the album. So we kind of make the songs a bit too long, and then we shorten them and make them more effective. But also, and that I think that's a strength with our ideas is that we we like we like to make music that which on paper is music with a lot of length, but the way you experience it, it feels shorter. Um,
Yeah, no, like I'm
yeah,
telling you, for people who you're not going to be bored. There's always like different dynamics, and you put like different elements. And something that I listening to this album, like every song flows into the other. I don't know because if it's like it's a concept album, so it's like a story. I don't know if it's like a linear story or like of like you start like with the tribesman at the beginning, and then it has an ending. So I'm figuring that's why every song flows into each other because it feels like it's like a linear story.
but firstly, we have to consider the track list um, consider the track list where we only have the music in mind.
Yeah.
It's very important that when a song ends, the next song sounds like there's some kind of twist in the direction or change in direction, and that that the listener always is very excited about the beginning of the next song. So that determines, the track list, and then you kind of have to make the lyrics fit into that. So that's a kind of a puzzle. And
Yeah.
luckily enough, I think we managed to do that.
Yeah.
But for instance, we had like two or three candidates on this album for being the opener of the album. But we were like, okay, if it's like a story or a narrative and it's all connected, we should also look at the track list and the album as a whole, as a book. When you
Yeah.
open the first page, what do you want? Some kind of introduction of of the concept and what this is all going to be about, and there's so much music with so many dynamics coming in the next hour or so. So starting with Kinship Elegiac and have this kind of prologue, or what you could call it, in the beginning as the introduction to the entire story, that fitted perfectly for us. And the Anguished Ethereal, the last song, that was always in our head at the closer, because how could it fit in? How could you
No,
make a
it
bigger
had to be
stage?
the
Yeah,
closing track.
yes. And so you're left over with like six additional songs, and that's we have really sat down and tried to shuffle the songs around and listen to every transition, and this build up, or this track list, was the best we could come up with.
No, yeah, no, it flows really well. And every instrument sounds so crisp and clear. So the production is really good on this record. So I want to show the artwork because the artwork is stunning as well for this record. Uh, so I read the name of the artist, but I can't remember it right now. So this is the the artwork for Kinship. So tell me a little bit about what the band wanted to convey with this artwork.
Um, we worked together with an artist from Canada called Brittany. She's extremely talented, and we saw some of her works and just connected with her and sent her the demos and the lyrics and some ideas about what the album was about. And then from there on, we said, you just do your thing, because this time around with Access, we had a lot of description about the front artwork. Oh, it could be cool with this and that and that and that. And this time we wanted to do it different. So we said, just create something. And then she came up with this front artwork, and we were just blown away.
Really beautiful.
We love it, and also the mythological approach to the lyrics are really presented here. So it's a good key to have this front artwork to go into the narrative, not as something very realistic, but more of a David Lynch kind of crazy universe. And also the connectedness of everything is something that is very clearly communicated on this front artwork. With the stars going through the strings to the tail to the main character holding something in its hands that kind of goes out into the nature, and and then nature kind of pops up back up to the stars. So it's very circular, which it should be. And there's a lot of questions that comes to my mind when I see the front artwork, which makes, I think, the lyrics and the music more interesting to go
because
into.
you see the character, he's like part of the soil.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so, yeah.
Exactly. But also a part of the cosmos. So
Yeah, no,
so
I like
it's
the use of colors, like the red dots that you have like on the vines, like give it a good touch,
yes.
because that's like the only hint of color that's not like black and white on the artwork. So yeah, it's a remarkable artwork and full of like details. So yeah, and when I look at it and I listen to the album, yeah, there's a lot of like the album lyrics in the cover.
Yes, and also the character on the front cover, is it's got some human aspects, but it's more like a creature. And
Yeah.
from the band name Jotuns, that is mythological creatures. So it for me personally, it points out this thing about being human, that being a human being, it's, like I said, it's very close to heart, and it's very straightforward at many times. You sleep, you wake up, you need to have something to eat, and you go to work, and you do your best to make ends meet. But at the same time, there's so many mysterious and so much chaos and wonders in being human, that it's almost like a
Yeah,
creature like, or
like creature
it's
like.
yeah, it transcends in some way to something much bigger that we really can't maybe can't understand or grasp to the fullest.
Yeah, no, but it is a great artwork that goes coincides with the music. So right now, Jens, do you have a favorite track of the album, like, or the one that you like most to play?
And I should say them all, of course, but that's not the question. Um, I will not. I think I will always come back to the Anguish, the Fear of the last song, as a song that is very special to me.
Yeah, yeah, I know that every song is special, but yeah, there's always one track that you gravitate to more. So the lyric called contact, is it the main vocalist who writes all the lyrics, or is it like a group effort with the lyrics?
Oh, it's Jon who writes the lyrics. The developing of the concept on this album has very much been in the group, and especially Jesper and Jon and I have discussed this a lot. But the final wording and the creation of the specific lyrics, that's Jon's work.
So you told him like we have this concept, now go write it.
Yeah, we just yeah, but it's also his concept, you know.
I know.
It's
Yeah, so the album's gonna be out soon, the 25th of October. What are I know you're gonna have it. There's vinyls, there's cassettes. I'll put the link for people who want to buy it from Metal Blade Records. So once the album is out, what are the immediate plans? Are you gonna have like a album release show, or some? Is there like a tour on the way?
we will have a listening party in Copenhagen this first day, a day before it's released, and then we'll
Okay.
have a handful of headliner shows in Denmark in January. And then we have a lot of plans regarding tours and festivals that I cannot confirm yet, but we are working our way through, and hopefully we will have a lot of great stuff going on in 25 and 26. And then, of course, and our fans knows this, I think that we are a band that like to be ahead. So we have also started working on the next album.
Wow, you're already working on the next album. Is it going to be a
Yeah,
concept record, or you still don't know what you're gonna take the next one in?
we don't know yet. I assume it will be a concept album because we like to tell stories,
Mhm.
and that kind of settles it, you know. Then it will automatically almost be a concept album, but I don't know because
It's,
we don't
yeah, it's too
really
soon
have
yet.
any rules. Yeah,
Yeah, and the listening party, where is it going to be? Like, are you going to invite? Like, is it like a small group of fans that are invited?
it's 50 plus persons, a free arrangement that and they it's going to be held at something in Denmark called the Hi-Fi Club. Uh,
So like a
we
good surround system to listen to.
we wanted to try to find a place where we could play the record on, you know, some really high quality
Yeah.
systems.
Yeah, this has to be an album that has to be listened like with some great speakers, like an immersive like theater sound, and maybe put some like pictures looking. It would be good because it has that concept. So
Yeah.
yeah, just tell Metal Blade Records if they send me a ticket for an airplane, I'm gladly fly to Copenhagen go to your album release. No, I wish. I never been to Copenhagen. I've been to some places in Europe, but yeah, I've always wanted to go listen to an album like that way. I know that last year, I think Steven Wilson when he put out his album, he had like a album release, like a immersive experience, and he invited some YouTubers, but from England. I'm like, damn it, I'm too far to be invited
Yeah.
to listen to it. But yeah, no, I think it's gonna be a great experience, and the lucky 50 people who get to hear this album in this surround, I think it's gonna be great because it even though you said like it sounds like an album, but it's very cinematic. Like it could be like a movie soundtrack to like an epic movie because it has that feel to it. So yeah, I truly enjoyed it. So I'm glad I got to listen to it before it came out. So, Jens, I know you're a busy man and you have more interviews today. But before I let you go, what would you like to say to the Yotun fans before we go?
Uh, all the support that we get is very, very appreciated, and we love the energy coming from every Jotun fan. I think there's a really good connection with passion for music, and and people know this. I'm just repeating myself, but you know, we try to always to do what we believe in and what is true to ourselves, and that's what we are bringing to people. What comes from the inside, and I think people knows that.
Yeah, yeah, no, it comes from a real place. Like they would say in the United States, you kept it real. That's what they say over there. I don't know why. But
Yeah,
I want to thank you, Jen, for taking some time to chat with me today about IOTUNN Kinship. Great album, truly recommended. I'm going to put the links for people who want to pre-order. So until next time, Couchers, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a Couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.